Hello punters and welcome to the preview and tips for the meeting at Rosehill on, of course, Saturday. Obviously tomorrow if you're watching this video tonight. So apologies that it's coming up quite late. Hopefully plenty of you can still get on and watch this before tomorrow. And look, tomorrow, to be honest, at Rosehill, very difficult program. This was very hard to do, the form for me. There's a lot of real serious unknowns. There's going to be a lot of ones that I'll be looking at probably bypassing the betting. So there's a few of them that are very hard to take. But look, still I'm going to be throwing myself on the line to try and get some winners out of each race for you guys. So I'll do the best I can. But without any further ado, I'm going to get straight into this and try and get through the video as quickly as possible. First race on the program, Class 2 Highway for over 1,500 metres. Look, as usual, there's a fair bit of pace on in this highway race, but I don't think there'll be as much. This will probably just be a solidly run tempo for 1,500 metres, nothing too excessive. So a bit interested to see where some of these get in the run. But look, really, I found this quite hard to split. But I thought number 12, Highbury, was a bit over the odds here with Glenn Boss in the saddle. Former horse of Gerald Ryan now in the care of Colt Prosser. And has been running some consistent races as of late, especially since the stables changed. And he obviously got his win last start, beating Desmos at Moree. So the form isn't extremely strong, but some of the races that he was in prior to that, when he was at Gerald Ryan, was quite good. So look, I mean, he's obviously well over the odds here, but in my opinion, he's obviously not necessarily a horse you want to take too strongly on, but he did run pretty well behind Yulong Bates, who has obviously been in some good form, so particularly in this highway races. So look, you've got to give him some respect, and I just think he's a bit over the odds here. There was one of these races that I found it hard to I guess, differentiate between some of these horses. So he goes on top for me at $13, ahead of number 7, Wickmo, who I think can run a good race here. Third up, a good third last time out at Muswellbrook. And again, I think it's a nice price at $9. Cosmic Haze should be able to bounce back and hopefully return to the winner's store for the Cabernet camp, who have really taken some of these races by storm. He's got some really nice horses in amongst his ranks at the moment. Look, this horse was pretty good last time out at Scone. Prior to that, at Rosehill, 7th in the higher race there behind Yulong Base. It was $3.30 favourite on that occasion, so could probably bounce back here and run a nice race. So I've got him for second. Then in for third, number 1, Scarlio for the Keith Dryden stable and National Wheeler in the saddle. I think this horse could run pretty well. Good win at Maria last time out, won by half length there, carried the weight. So carrying the 59 here isn't too much of an issue. Carried 69.5 last start. A little bit of a sticky barrier, but I reckon Nash will be able to navigate it nicely. But look, very hard race, the highway race here. And this one, I couldn't really split a few of these, to be honest. I've got number 12, Highbury, on top, though, ahead of number 7, Wickmo, in for second. In for third, number 3, Cosmic Haze. Then in for fourth, number 1, Scarlio. Moving on to race number 2 on the program now, the JRA Quality, over 2,400 metres. Look at speed map here. Look, I think Exemplar will find the top. Probably is the only horse that will be up there leading. And I think as such, if he can handle the Sydney way of going, he'll be pretty hard to beat. His form lines down here in Victoria are quite good. And look, I rate them up above some of the Sydney horses staying form in these types of races. I just don't think it's quite as strong. Exemplar comes in pretty nice to the weights here at the 53.5. The fourth last time out at Lord Belvedere and Persan reads quite nicely. Two horses that are in good form. Obviously, Lord Belvedere winning first up, and Lord Persan, Persan has been in terrific form. Prior to that, finished third to Persan. So around those form lines, I think that's the strongest one, and $3.40 about it. I think it's about the right price, so he goes on top for me. Out of number 5, Attorney in for second, who I think is building towards a win as last start was a fourth behind Badouche over the 1,800 metres. Thought that was a decent effort. Steps out of the 2,400 metres here, much more suitable distance range, and I expect to be running well here, third up in its preparation. So he is also one of the chances, has been pretty well supported as well in the market. Number 3, Grey Lion. Look, he can bounce back. He's a hard horse to catch, but he can pop up with a win, and he comes out to his suitable distance range here. I was disappointed last start. I was relatively keen on him over the 900 metres at Rosehill. He was just a bit disappointing there. But the start prior reads pretty good on the heavy track with Randwick over 800 metres. He finished, was beaten by Taika Mochi in a tension run there now. Taika Mochi has since come out and won group race last week at at Randwick that was. So, I mean, that type of form looks pretty good here for Grey Lion. If he can bounce back, he's just that doesn't win out of turn. He's a hard horse to catch. So, just a bit of a query there, but he could definitely run well in the smaller field. So he goes in for third. Then in fourth, I've got number 1, Raheen House, who I think third up here can bounce back and run a good race. So 2 wins from 4 starts. Third up, there's never been a horse that's run well first or second up. 7 starts in both of those areas for no wins. So you can forgive a couple of his performances to date, and you could perhaps make a good claim that he'll bounce back and run well. Obviously, Cars Off is the other decent chance. But look, relatively keen on number 6, Exemplar here. I think it should be hard to beat. Obviously, if it handles the Sydney way of going, I think it's just got the superior form. I rate the Victorian staying form that he's been around in comparison to some of these other ones. So he goes on top for me at $3.40, ahead of number 5, Attorney for second. In the third, number 3, Grey Lion, and then fourth, number 1, Raheen House. Move on to race number 3 on the program now. Benchmark 88 over the 1900 metres. Very deep field here. We've got 19 of them. We've got 17 of them in the race. I think thought of that fun fact, and Entitled will probably be 3 leaders in this one here. I can't see too many of these other horses taking on the speed. Look, I really struggled to split this race. There's a lot of massive chances here. Look, I have landed with number 11 Yonkers on top here. I'm surprised this horse is big odds and has been pretty well supported. Was double figures and now is into 650. Tom Stockdale takes a ride. He's up there riding in New South Wales, which is great to see, especially him getting a chance on a Saturday Metro meeting. So I really like to see that. Look, the last start he was pretty well backed when he finished 6th behind Badouche and Quintessa. But the start prior to that, he was excellent when he finished 3rd to McCormick and Think It Over. I think he could probably bounce back to that type of form and run well here. I think he's got to be within a chance, and I think he can run a good race. So he goes on top ahead of number 10, Thought of That, who was narrowly pipped on the line at Moonee Valley by Shandy, who was absolutely flying and in great form, much to my dismay. Was very keen on Thought of That day, and I'm not going to about to jump off him here. I think he'll run well, and I think he'll get around the Sydney way going just fine and be right in the finish. So he goes in for second for me. In for third, I've got number 7, Cross Dubai, who was a bit disappointing last time out over 600 metres, but gets out to a bit more of a suitable distance range at the 1900. It's a horse who come over here to Australia from the UK and looks to be getting be looking for a bit further, and that was the case last start. Obviously, the one prior to that at 1500 metres behind Just Thinking. Fun Fact was a decent run. Just think and see him bouncing back into form here. And running well, so he goes in for third. I think he's well over the odds at $35 with Hugh Bowman in the saddle. In for fourth, I've got number 14, She's Ideal. Obviously, she's been in great form, and she's a very consistent horse. She's 2 from 2, third up, which is obviously makes good claims to her. She's an interesting one, though. She does run better on the rain-affected track. She has won before on a good surface, and she ran pretty well last start over 1800 metres behind Badouche and Quintessa. She hit line well there. I expect her to be running well. $4.80 is probably not a bad price. Surprised Badouche is $10, to be honest. I mean, he did win fair and square last time out. Obviously, the weights are a little bit different. I mean, Badouche goes down a kilo, and She's Ideal drops nearly 4.5. So that, I mean, there is the big weight swing there. But I mean, the fact that Badouche got the job done, it is $10, and Quintessa similarly at the 13. So I mean, while there is a weight swing, it is a little bit surprising there's such that big discrepancy in the market. But look, so Badouche has got a chance. Star Karen is probably a bit over the odds here. I didn't mind its first up run over 1500 metres, gets out to a much more suitable distance. This horse formerly trained in New Zealand, now with Chris Waller, with Kathy O'Hara in the saddle. Definitely, I might be having a bit of a spec at the $26 there about her, especially. I'm not too sure exactly what the conditions are like there. It looks like it's going to be remaining as a good forward. It looks to be relatively fine weather conditions in New South Wales. So if that's the case, look, maybe just looks a bit of a knock on Star Karen, but look, I thought that first up performance wasn't too bad over 1500 metres, and I think the step out distance will see some improvement out of it. But look, a bit of a flip of a coin this race here, to be honest. I've gone with Yonkers on top. I think it's got nice claims here. Ahead of number 10, Thought of That, and for second. In for third, I've got number... I've completely lost now. Number 7, Across Dubai, I thought was massively over the odds. And then in for fourth, I've got number 14, She's Ideal, who's very consistent. Move on to race number 4 now on the program, 1800 metres, the Gloaming Stakes. Really good race, this one. But again, very tough to split some of these. I think Easy Campese, Lions Roar, and Bucharest will be up towards the speed with Love Tap not far away. Look, I'm stunned that Love Tap's 225 here. Obviously, he's got a big rap, and I said this a few weeks ago about Mwanga, and it came out and proved me wrong. So I think that, Love Tap has every opportunity to do that again here, but I just can't really back a horse at 225 considering the form lines has been. I know, look, he's been absolutely terrific in winning those races. He was $1.07 last start at Goulburn. He won by 4.3 lengths. He then won the start prior at Goulburn on a heavy surface. He won by 4.3 lengths there. So, look, he's just been winning it by massive margins, but against not a lot in terms of ability of the field. So 225 to me is just ridiculously short. Definitely has to be a horse that has to come to town and win first before I could ever entertain backing a price like that. So it goes in for, so I don't have that as one of my numbers, to be honest. Look, I've got landed with the Achiever here. I think this horse was pretty good last start behind Bar None over 1550 at Canterbury, and we'll enjoy the step out down 800 metres. And I think this horse can just run a much better race. Obviously, runs a little bit better on the rain affected going, so the good track doesn't necessarily suit it too well. But rock hard fit, and I really like that last start performance, so it could be the one that gets the better of these. Cardinabia is another one who I don't mind at the odds, so I'll be having each way played it as well. Really liked its last start performance winning at Canterbury over the 1550. Beating Wild Irish at that occasion with James McDonald in the saddle. Now, James has jumped on to Bucharest, which is an interesting decision there by him, but Hugh Bowman does replace James McDonald on Cardinabia, and I just think Cardinabia has that fair bit of ability, a bit of upside. Bucharest as well does have the upside. I can see why James McDonald's potentially gone that way, but this horse coming out of a pretty strong race last time out behind Coterie and Suave. But it was look, it wasn't a necessarily a disappointing run, but it was back in the field on that occasion when it was well backed. It was $2.80 in the race, and was probably expecting him to be a little bit better in that race there. But end of the day, it was a pretty strong form race, and he comes into this pretty nicely at $12. He's definitely got a chance. So a couple of good horses you can go each way at. And look, I have got Love Tap in for fourth. The barrier number 1 is going to suit this horse nicely. It obviously does know how to win and win well, but just this question of coming up against the better horses, whether he will be able to produce it. So he goes in for fourth. And obviously Lions Roar has also got a bit of a shout as well. But look, I've gone with number 1 Achiever on top, but I do also make a good case for number 5 Cardinabia and number 4 Bucharest. You could easily have each way plays on them. They'd be the 3 that I'd be playing around. Number 3 Love Tap in for fourth. No disrespect to the favourite, but just a horse similar to Mwanga a few weeks ago, which obviously did come out and do it. I need to see this horse come out, win in town in a decent race first before I can start backing it at 225. Just way too short for me. Moving on to race number 5 now. It's the Heritage Stakes over the 1100 metres. Pretty good race this. I'm really looking forward to it. Very competitive field. It's just a Forbidden Love, Wild Ruler, Mabusha will be probably up towards the pace. PMI won't be too far away either, and Chianti and Kamasi usually like to roll up towards the lead, so they're in the outside barriers. Interesting to see what they do from out there. Look, I've landed with number 5, Return with Honour here. I think this horse is massively over the odds at $27. I know Gerald Ryan spoke about it pretty well the other day, and thinks he could run a good race, and I do too. I think third up here looks to get a good run in the race. Looks to be a good genuine speed for him to come into off the back of. And I didn't mind his third last start behind Bartley and Aftermath. That's been a good. Obviously, Bartley's come down to Victoria, run well in a group race behind Crosshaven, and will go around again tomorrow at Caulfield. So I think that's a decent enough form to suggest he'll run well enough here. And I think $27 massively over the odds about a horse that's third up. So he goes on top for me at the $27, ahead of number 1 Wild Ruler, who, look, he's a terrific horse, and he's got stacks of ability. I didn't mind his trial leading in, where he finished behind Libertini. Obviously, very smart horse, Libertini. So no problem with finishing behind her in a trial. Obviously, he's got form around Rothfire, which reads terrifically for a race like this. So, look, he's the main danger. I've got him as a very good chance. So, probably going to be the way I'll be playing it. I'll be having something each way on Return with Honour, with then a decent better on the 460 on Wild Ruler as well. So, he goes in for second. In for third, number 2, Destination, who obviously is racing in pretty good form. The second last time out at Rosehill behind Prime Star was a good effort. Prime Star ran okay last start, so form's not too bad around for Destination, but obviously Rock Hard Fit now, so the 3 runs leading in, comes into this 4th up and should run pretty well from the inside barrier. Obviously we'll be able to cut up, and you should see actually what Hugh Bowman does. Usually a horse likes to get back in the field. I suggest he probably won't want to do that, get buried on the fence in there, so he'll probably be looking to roll up and get to a prominent position. So he goes in for 3rd for me. Then in the 4th, I've got number 11, Time Is Precious. I have gone around the favourite. I thought Time Is Precious was massively over the odds at $31 here. Good fresh horses, had 2 starts first up for a win and a placing. The trial leading him wasn't too bad, over 900 metres behind Kamasi and Conscript. Was obviously is a horse that really wasn't asked for much in that trial either. Horse that has won on good tracks before, 2 starts for a win and a placing, and he has only missed a place at the top 3 finish once in his career, so a very interesting runner, and I think $31 is just massively over the odds about him. A couple of other chances in the race. I do think that Marbusha could run well first up for the Snowdens. Obviously, decent form coming back last preparation. The second of McCrew reads really well. Look, I did leave Forbidden Love out of the numbers, obviously 3rd up into this race here. The 3rd last time out behind Danger Seller Hungry Heart reads exceptionally, so I can see why it's $4.40, but I just think that there's a couple other horses in this race that might have targeted this race in comparison to Forbidden Love, who I felt was probably targeted towards the first 2 runs in its preparation. So it wouldn't shock me if it wins, and probably looking at it now, I probably do regret leaving it out of my top 4, but look, I just think that, you know, whenever there's a bit of value there for me, I like to elevate that and make that my stronger point to have back at. I mean, for me personally, Forbidden Love, look, she can win, but $4.40, I'd much rather take a 27 about a Return with Honour, or a you know, even a $7 about Marbusha, or a $31 about Time of Pressure. Just think it's way better value, especially in these 3-odd races. We can often see massive upsets and big odds, and horses at big odds winning these types of races. So that's a formula I'm going with here. Pazenzia is an interesting one for Jamie Richards, the New Zealand trainer, with Kieran McFall in the saddle. Jumps a favourite first up at Kembla Grange, beaten by Lord Olympus and already blessed there. Be interested to see if it can show some improvement in its 3rd run of its career. So look, a lot of differing variables here, but I think the number 5, Return with Honour, just gets a really good run in the race, and I didn't mind its last start performance behind Bartley, and I think that 3rd up here can run a good race, so it goes on top for me. End of number 1, Wild Rule in for 2nd, who I think is the big danger and is a very good chance in this race here. In for 3rd, I've got number 2, Destination. Then in for 4th, I've got number 11, Time Is Precious, who I also thought was massively over the odds. Moving on to the quaddie legs of the program now, and it is race number 6 that I'm going to be looking at first, and it's the Shannon Stakes over 1,500 metres. Look at the speed map for this one here. I think Miss Siska and Quackerjack will probably lead them up. I can't see too many others challenging for the speed, so I think that they'll be able to find the lead quite easily. Look, I'm keen on Quackerjack here. I think that he can bounce back in his form. He has had 2 runs so far this preparation, both on soft going. I think coming back on top of the ground, he'll improve immensely on that. And he does come to a track that he doesn't race too well at, though. He's had 3 starts here at Rosehill and he hasn't placed. But I just think that with the lack of tempo up front and the lack of pressure, I think he'll be able to get the better of Miss Siska, who I do also rate as a decent chance. But I think that Quackerjack has just got that little bit more residual fitness for that extra run under the belt. He obviously finished 6th last time out at Newcastle behind Rock and Just Thinking. I think Rock's going to be is a superstar and is going to be running pretty well at an Epsom next week. So Quackerjack's got to be given a chance here at $9. I think it's a good each way play. Tie Zone in for 3rd is his Group 1 winner, and you can't disrespect that. And at $16, he's massively over the odds. I'm interested to see what he can do, because he tends to get better the further into his prep he goes. I wonder how long he will stay in New South Wales for. I haven't had a proper look at the Edmonds team and to see how long he's staying there, but I suggest they brought him down for a reason, and it's similar with Nicanova as well. Here's my 3rd pick. Just feel like that these 2 horses came down here for a reason and got ready for this Sydney Spring, and they could both run good races here, especially dropping back in grade. Obviously, Nicanova contested a Group 1 a couple of starts back, and they both ran in the Group 2 behind Wild Planet Funstar last time out. So they could improve off the back of their last couple of runs, considering they're still here and still racing. So they're going for 2nd and 3rd. And look, number 5, I Am Superman, was terrific at Caulfield last start. I was really impressed that performance was on him that day. And he really did salute Julie, but comes up against a slightly tougher field here, and he is $3.30, and it's a track that he hasn't placed at before, very similarly to Quackerjack, but he's paying $3.30. So I just would have to see him do it first before I can go launch into him at $3.30. Looks like Elvis has a chance here, third up. I think it can bounce back nicely off its last start performance where it finished 7th behind Dreamforce and Colding, which reads pretty well. I mean, that's some elite form, proper Group 1 form there, especially Colding, who's come out and won since. So look, the form looks quite good around. Looks like Elvis, and third up here I think could improve well. I haven't got my numbers, but do think it could be a winning chance. Miss Siska's obviously, she's got plenty of ability. Yamazaki's an interesting horse. I was very keen on him at Newcastle when he rattled home late from the back. He was strongly supported on that day at the big odds. So see if they come for him again tomorrow. He's at $10. He is coming off a quick backup. That was 7 days ago today. So by tomorrow it'll be 8 days ago. So he has a chance. And Nudge was a horse who I tipped on top last week before it got scratched, and it's going around this race here instead. It was a good run first up, over 1,200 metres behind prime candidate Wonderbar, and will appreciate the step up in distance, so it's got to be given a chance as well. But look, got plenty of chances here. I've got number 3, Quackerjack, on top. Think he can bounce back just with the lack of speed. I think the speed map just says to me that he'll be up there and he'll be able to give him something to catch. So he's on top for me, ahead of number 1, Tie Zone for second. In for third, number 2, Nick Over. Then in for fourth, I've got number 5, I Am Superman. All right, now we get into the big one. It is the nut race number 7, the Group 1 Golden Rose, of course. Terrific race. Rothfire, the dominant favourite, $1.85, deservedly so. Looks very hard to beat. Based off its last start and the fact that it comes down the weights as well. Look at the speed map. I'd say Yardstick, Rothfire. Pelzer might roll forward just to try and make Rothfire work from out there, but he has sit and sprinted nicely, as we saw in the run of the Rose 2 weeks ago, so there'll be no issues for him. Look, he's obviously going to be extremely hard to beat. Can I suggest betting on him? Look, probably not. He has won over 1,400 metres before, but and you know that was in the JJ Ackham's Group 1 race there. So look, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. There's no denying that. But I'm going to have a little something each way on number 2, King's Legacy. I mean, he's a horse that people have forgotten about, really. I mean, he was last in that race behind Rothfire over 1,200 metres. That was never going to be his go. I know that the Snowdens are pretty keen that and confident that he'll bounce back and run much better over 1,400 metres. He is a Group 1 winner. I mean, this is the thing that people are forgetting with him, and that's why I can't understand how he's $17. I mean, off his last start, yep, sure, but it was over 1,200 metres. I think he'll improve immensely. Coming out this extra 200 metres, being second up as well. He's 2 from 2 second up, so that's the first case in point that I make with him. So that's already a nice start. Looking back at last preparation, obviously he won the size produce over the over the 1,400 metres. So he's already Group 1 went over 1,400 metres. Then he on that occasion he beat Prague and Mamargan. Then he beat Glenfiddich and Ollie Kirk. We know how good Glenfiddich is. He's come down to Victoria and been terrific. He's come back to Victoria and been terrific, and that was in the Champagne, and he won that over 600 metres. So he's a very good horse, and he's $17. So I just think it's massively over the odds. So I'd rather have an each-way play on him and go slightly heavier for the place and the win, obviously, to try and get a good return out of it. He's $3.40 the place. Look, Rothfire goes in a second. I might even have a Quinella play on the 2. I think they are the 2 horses that are the ones to beat for me. Number 5, North Pacific, is an interesting runner for me. I think that he's got a stack of ability. I didn't mind his run last start. He was quite good in that Rothfire Kirk race, but he hit the line really nicely there, but he only goes down half a kilo, whereas Rothfire goes down a couple of kilos. What did he carry last start? He carried 58.5. So yeah, Rothfire goes down 2. North Pacific only goes down half a kilo. It's hard to see North Pacific turn the tables on Rothfire, but he does have a lot of upside. Number 7, Pelzer. I know Gerald Ryan's quite keen on this horse, and he has targeted this race for this galloper. And look, obviously his best form last preparation was really good. He beat the likes of Anders last prep, and look, he should be in the finish. I would be stunned if he's not there or thereabouts, so he's got to be given a mention. Look, Ollie Kirk obviously was very, very good in that run to the Rose race. Just that swing of the weights just, is what gets me. Obviously Rothfire comes down 2. Ollie Kirk only comes down half a kilo, so it is a big difference, and it makes it hard to see how he can overturn that type of deficit. But he was very good there, and I wouldn't be surprised if he runs well in this race. And Margan obviously can't be forgotten. Global Quest, I mean, it was a decent second first up behind Mwanga, so different form line there. Mwanga looks like a potential star. He's $27, so look, I don't really give much chance to Sylvester and Yardstick as the very two outsiders, but look, I think Royal Rothfire will be hard to beat. I'm keen to go with number 2, King's Legacy at each way price. I think much better value and definitely has a good chance to knock off the favourite, but he'll be very hard to beat Rothfire. He goes for second as the main danger. In for third, number 5, North Pacific. And in for fourth, number 7, Pelzer. Moving on to race number 8 on the program now, we've got the Golden Pendant, and pretty good race this, really competitive for the girls. And I think Positive Peace will probably try and lead off the inside barrier ahead of Adelong, Sweet Deal, Shout the Bar, and Hawkbury on her will all try and get forward in the runs there, I would suggest. Look, I think Akari is massively over the odds here at the $41. Good. Her first up run behind for Chuse and Hilo was actually quite good. You see a 6 next to her name, but she came from back in the field, ran home pretty nicely. Didn't mind that first up performance over 1,100 metres. She's obviously going to get better. Comes out to 1,400 metres. She's second up where she's won before. I just think there's plenty of ticks to suggest that she'll run really well at $41. So she goes on top for me in this race. So I'm really keen on her chances ahead of number 2, Hawkbury on her, who, look, she was absolutely terrific in the Shirako, and I think she could bounce back and run well here. But 235 is way too short here for me. I can't suggest betting her at that price. But if she can get across and be towards the lead, she'll be hard to run the gun down again. She'll be right at the finish. Positive Peace, well over the odds here. Obviously, it was a little bit disappointing first up, but comes in this second up where she's got a perfect 3 from 3 record, and I think she'll be able to bounce back and run well. Obviously, she probably prefers a bit of sting out of the track, which she won't get, but she has had a fair share of wins on a good track as well, so you can't deny that. She obviously has won well here at the track before, 5 starts at Rosehill for 3 wins, and like I said, she was just a little bit disappointed that Hawkbury on her Gen Rules race, but obviously the Shirako that was last start, but she's got a lot of ability, and off barrier number 1, I could see her getting a really good run in the race and being quite competitive in this. So $17 is a nice price about her. And then as well, obviously you got to have Gen Rules in there. Surprised that this horse is, I guess, the price it is, because I mean, really, she wasn't that far off Hawkbury on her last start. Only finished 0.8 length behind her. Looking at the weight swing, look, Gen Rules stays level at the weights, and Hawkbury on her goes up half a kilo. So very surprising. Gen Rules is at $15 here. I think second up could run a good race. So $15 about her is a good price. But look, I'm very keen to play around the favourite. Shout the Bar. Look, $41 about a Group 1 winner is staggering. I mean, she's obviously going to get better the further out she gets in trip. But and she obviously did finish last in that race last start. But she's definitely a horse that's going to appreciate getting out over further, and probably seems to be a horse now that is appreciates some sting out of the track. But I think this horse can run pretty well. $41 is just massive overs about a Group 1 winner, really. So look, Emeralds is probably the other one who I don't mind either. But look, very competitive race. So I'm going to go with number 12, Akari, on top there at the $41. I think this horse got a great chance to bounce back and run a good race here. I didn't mind its first up performance, and I think that extra 300 metres is going to see this horse go awfully close second up, so it goes on top for me. Head of number 2, Hawkbury on her, who she's obviously a superstar, and she's a very consistent horse. She'll be right at the finish. I just couldn't suggest going at 235, a bit too short for me. In for third, number 3, Positive Peace, also over the odds for me. And then in for fourth, number 7, Gen Rules, who I could easily see overturning the favourite. I mean, there's a weight swing between the two in favour of Gen Rules, only half a kilo, but it is something. And she's $15 and Hawkbury on hers $235. I mean, it's pretty staggering, isn't it, really? So moving on to the final race of the program, benchmark 88 over 1,400 metres. We get to see Masked Crusader go around here, and he looks pretty hard to beat as well. Look at the speed map. I suggest that Prime Candidate will probably lead them up, obviously bouncing back from a 7-day backup should it go around, and Mount Tabora probably won't be far off. Plonker and Purple Circle might roll forward, but I can't see him contesting the lead. Look, he obviously is going to be really hard to beat, Masked Crusade. He's a superstar in the making, but he's let the punters down twice now, and I haven't bet on him at either of those starts, so it hasn't really bothered me too much. And I'm going to go against him here again because for me, he needs a win before I can entertain backing him at $1.85. So I'm going to actually go with a horse here in Prime Candidate, who I'm quite stunned that this horse is $9. I mean, it's going to get an easier time in the speed. Ran at Round Week last time out, was beaten by Ethereum Prime Star. just went way too hard on that occasion. He did, and I think he'll settle much better here, and he won't get pressured in this race. And if you can run back to the way he ran here at the track 2 starts back over 1,200 metres, where he beat Wonderbar, I think he'll be going awfully close in this race here. So $9 about him, good price. He goes on top for me. Ahead of number 2, Batiga, who, again, I know Gerald Ryan is he's very happy the way this horse has come back, and he's got a stack of ability. He's going to be looking for further, obviously potentially going towards a Golden Eagle, this horse. So I'm interested to see where he goes, but he's a 2-time Group 3 runner-up, so he's got plenty of ability. $8.50, and I really like the way that Gerald Ryan spoke about him during the week. He's very confident he's going to have a good spring prep, so I'll be following him a fair bit. He goes in for second. In for third, look, number 5, Masked Crusader, got to add him in, obviously. The $1.85, he's a class galloper, and he's probably the class galloper of the field, but just as I said, he's got to win first before I can dive into those short odds for me. And barrier number 2 is just that little bit of a tricky barrier. He might need a bit of luck from there, potentially. Number 8, Roach O'Clock's well over the odds here. I love this mare. She's got a lot of ability, a lot of talent. She's going to be right back in the field, though, and probably is going to need a decent tempo to run into it. But she's got class and got ability. But for me, I'm probably going to wait for a second up before I can back into her. But she's got a good chance. Mirror Vision's probably the other one who I don't mind a bit of odds. A nice 5th first up at Randwick behind Crystal Breeze as a cat. That little bit of a different form line second up could improve as well. So recap the numbers for me. Look, I've gone with number 1, Prime Candidate. I just think it's going to get an easy time in the lead, be able to dictate the terms. Josh Parry's a good front riding jockey, and will give a good kick on the bend. And coming back to Rosehill, I think could be a good recipe for success for this horse, especially to be in the finish regardless. So 235 the place. I'm probably going to go heavy on the place, small on the win. Number 2, Batiga is another one, though, that I think I'm keen to see how this horse can go first up. Look, I'm probably not going to back into him because I think while 850 is a very good price about him, he obviously has further targets, and Gerald Ryan admitted himself he's going to get better the further out he gets. So while he does think he'll run a good race, obviously the further out he gets, the better he'll be. Number 3, Masked Crusader in for third, and then in for fourth, I've got number 8, Roach O'Clock. Now, recapping my best bets of the program. So, look, my best bet of the program is going to come in race number 6, and it is going to be number 3, Quackerjack. I think it's a really nice bet at the $9, so it's going to be my best bet of the program for me. I think it's got a really good chance. It's going to be able to be on the speed, not a whole lot of pressure, which is the way that he likes, and I think he can bounce back into form. So, race number 6, number 3, Quackerjack, one of my best bets of the program. The other one that I'm very keen on does come in race number 2, and it is number 6, Exemplar, in the staying race there. I think it'll be really hard to beat at the $3.40, so that's my other best bet of the program. Race number 2, number 6, Exemplar at $3.40. Other chance in the race of my best value plays of the program, I'm going to go to the final race of the card, race number 9, number 1, Prime Candidate. I think it'll be right at the finish at $9. I think it's good, worth a good each way play, good value bet for me. The other one I don't mind comes in race number 8, and it's number 12, Akari at the $41. I think it's just well over the odds, and I think this horse will be running a really bold race to be coming into it. Moving on to my Quaddie selections on the program. So in the early Quaddie, look, I've gone quite wide here. I've gone in race number, leg number 1, race number 2, 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7. So it's 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7 in leg number 1, race number 2. Leg number 2, race number 3, I've gone a fair few in this really open affair. 2, 4, 7, 9, 10. 2, 4, 7, 9, 10. 11, 13, 14, and 15. Leg number 3, race number 4, 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Leg number 4, race number 5, 1, 2, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, 5, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So $200 to get around that 12% mark. I think that's a decent enough point to get in this. I think there's a fair bit of value, particularly in that's race number 3, the second leg. Moving on to my late Quaddie. So in the late Quaddie, I've gone leg 1, race number 6, 1, 3, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, and 14. So it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12, 14. Leg 2, race number 7, obviously the Golden Rose, 1, 2, 5, and 7. So it's 1, 2, 5, and 7 in the Golden Rose. Leg number 3, race number 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 12. And then leg number 4, race number 9, 1, 2, 5, 8 and 10. So $150, get around 17% for that quaddie there. Obviously, if Rothfire gets up, it probably won't pay too high, but hopefully Akari can get up in the race there, race number 8, and it could inject some decent value into the quaddie. So good luck if you're playing tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. Obviously, if you haven't already done so, go check out my Caulfield Underwood Stakes video, which I've posted about half hour before this one. So go check that out. Apologies for that these are up quite late. Hopefully you can get onto them and find yourself plenty of winners tomorrow. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. As always, leave your comments down below on any of your thoughts ahead of tomorrow's racing, and I'll look to get back to them and have a bit of a discussion or give you any of my thoughts. Appreciate all the feedback as well, if you ever have any. So thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoy the race tomorrow and find plenty of winners.